Come in from crisp morning air outside. Come in wearing autumn sunlight on your face. Come carrying the turning of the seasons in your heart. Whatever and however the greatness of life is speaking to you now, you are welcome here in our circle of friends. Good morning and welcome to the Sunday morning service at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. These welcoming words, which I have just shared, are written by the Reverend Sarah Getty McNeil, and they capture how I've been feeling over the past several days as we are firmly moving into a Southern California autumn, not quite the same as the New England autumns of my youth. And yet still, I love the change of seasons. And it always causes me to stop and reflect. Whatever and however the greatness of life is speaking to you now, you are welcome here in our circle of friends. My name is Pamela Flodman, and I will be serving as the worship associate for this morning's service. Our Zoom and audiovisual texts today are Don West Jr., Paul Bogdan, and Dara Skorecki. And our opening music this morning was an arrangement of Bob Marley's Redemption Song. And this arrangement was performed by the Kana Mason family. I love this recording, and it really fits with our theme today of life's invitations. During the very start of the pandemic, the musicians in this family, and these are 7 siblings who performed the recording that you just heard, they found that they were spending a lot of time together in their home in Nottingham. And many of them had performed professionally, individually before. Some of them are not professionals. But they found when they were stuck together in their home in Nottingham due to the pandemic that they turned to playing music together as a group more frequently. And this actually led them to putting together and recording an album. And so the music that you just heard is one of the stunning pieces, I think, from that album. So it's worth certainly going back to other versions of Redemption Song to listen to the words, which I'm hearing in my head also as we listen to the music, but also go back and check out some of the recordings from this amazing family who really took that opportunity, I suppose, that life gave them and made some beautiful music out of it. Each Sunday, anywhere there is a service held in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. The flaming chalice is the symbol of our faith. So if you have joined us this morning by Zoom, I invite you to light a chalice within your home as I light the chalice here at UUFLB. Our chalice lighting words today were written by the Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray, who is the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. An ethic of love lives at the heart of our UU faith. It reflects the core question, how are we to live? It calls us to courage, to continually grow and learn and adapt in ways that foster love and justice. It is not a weak or sentimental love. It burns like the fire at the center of our chalice. It's fierce in a way that compels us to demand justice in our world, but also fierce in how it calls us to courageous conversations, to radical practices of welcome, compassion, forgiveness, and belonging. Let this love burn brightly in our hearts and in all of our communities. May it be the energy and resilience we need to keep on loving, to keep on learning, to keep on showing up for each other and our neighbors in resistance to evil and in creating refuge from the traumas of oppression. Throughout the service this morning, if you are here with us in the building, I invite you, if you wish, to come forward and light a candle here in the sanctuary in recognition of whatever you are carrying in your heart as you join us for worship today. At UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, whomever you love, no matter your age, your gender, your ancestral or ethnic background, and whatever sincere questions that you bring with you today, whatever has brought you here this morning, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow as spiritual and ethical beings. Many, many thanks to everyone at UUFLB who works together each week to create opportunities for us to worship together, to be together in community, our board, our worship committee, everyone who helps prepare each week for our Sunday morning worship services and have the sanctuary ready and the coffee made, and the people who work on other events, such as our Zoom at Noon discussion group, which meets each week on Mondays. And we also know there are always more opportunities to work together. There's always more to be done. And if you're looking for a way to become involved, please reach out. For those of you who are new or visiting in our community today, please connect with us after service if you would like to be added to our email mailing list so that you can receive advance notice of each service and other events. And also, if you're new to our community and joining on Zoom, you can put your, if you wish, put your name and your email address into the chat so that we can capture it and add it to your email address. Connecting with each other is the way in which we build community as a strong base from which we can go out to make a difference in the world. On the slide that Dawn will put up for us now is information about upcoming services here at UUFLB. And first, I want to acknowledge, if you read the email announcement of this service earlier this week, you may have been planning to come to Sunday morning service this week to hear Stacy Pendleton, who's visited us many times before with her amazing singing bowls and her talents in chanting. And the service this morning was planned to be a sound healing service with Stacy, but due to unforeseen changes, Stacy was not able to be here this week, and she's going to be joining us next week. So next Sunday, Stacy Pendleton will be leading the planned sound healing service. And for any of you who've been to a sound healing service here before, I think you know that these can be pretty amazing services. So I hope you're able to join next week. On October 30th, Michael Eslin, also a frequent visitor to UUFLB, will be joining us. Each year, Michael comes to lead a service that often incorporates his work as a chaplain, working with UCLA in the hospital system up at UCLA. And so we're looking forward to the October 30th service with Michael Eslin. On November 6th, Reverend Tom Owen Toll, who is an emeritus UU minister from San Diego, will be coming to join us, again, rejoining us really here at UUFLB. And then on November 13th, Reverend Nancy McDonald Ladd will be joining us to lead the service. She's not traveling to California to lead this service. Reverend Ladd is from a congregation back east, but those of you who were here over the summer know that we had a book group that focused on one of the books that Reverend Ladd has written about looking forward to the future within the Unitarian Universalist faith and for UU congregations. And Reverend Ladd has accepted Dawn's invitation to come and lead a service with us to continue the discussions we had this summer. So I hope that you are able to join us for some or all of these upcoming services. And as many of you know, we also typically record each Sunday service so that it can be available following the service through our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page, so that if you had to miss the service, you can hopefully join it after the fact. Well, this morning, as I indicated earlier, our service is entitled Life's Invitation, focused on those invitations that life provides us to get engaged and to get involved. Later in the service this morning, we will hear the words of Dr. Takia Nur Amin. Dr. Amin is a dance scholar, educator, and consultant who currently serves as the content director and a member of the organizing collective board for the group Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, or BLUE. As part of the 2021 Siding with Love service, which was organized through the Unitarian Universalist Association, Dr. Amin delivered a homily entitled The Call of Our Faith. And in this homily, Dr. Amin reminds us that in every moment, life is giving us an invitation to engage and to make a difference. Dr. Amin writes that life is continually inviting us into a cosmic dance of renewal and joy and justice. But she says you have to make the justice. It doesn't just show up without our participation or our effort. We all have to engage from wherever we are and however we can to do the work to make things better. And each moment presents an invitation for us to act. When I read Dr. Amin's homily, it was a powerful reminder for me of the challenge that we face in accepting these invitations that life presents to us. And in thinking about this morning's service, I have been reflecting on our second principle. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. I think that many of us are Unitarian Universalists because of our commitment to this principle and because of our commitment to working actively to make a difference in our world. And yet working for justice, equity, and compassion is a difficult endeavor, even for a group of individuals like this who deeply share a commitment to our second principle. How do we take up the invitations that life provides us to act for justice? Dr. Amin's homily reminded me of the discussions we are having within the broad Unitarian Universalist community and within this community here at UUFLB about the proposed eighth principle. And thank you, Dawn, for following my cue and putting the proposed eighth principle up on the slides. During our Sunday service last week, Noreen, Oakley, and Ross created for us a valuable opportunity to explore the proposed eighth principle as a commitment to action, to accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. During today's service, as we explore through the words of Dr. Takia Nur Amin, the invitations that life provides to us, as we explore the call to our faith, we will consider the ways in which we can answer the call to act and to make a difference. Our centering thought this morning is from Reverend William Sinkford. And I invite you, if you wish, to read these words together with me, and to unmute yourself if you have joined us this morning by Zoom. So please read together with me if you wish. We are a gentle and generous people, but let us not forget our anger. May it fuel not only our commitment to compassion, but also our commitment to make fundamental changes. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1066 in the teal hymnal, O Brother Sun. And there are teal hymnals in the back of the sanctuary if you want to pick one up. And for those of you who are joining by Zoom, there will be the words to the hymn, I believe will show up in your chat on your Zoom meeting in just a minute. So please join with our amazing and talented music director, Carole, in singing this favorite hymn, this beautiful hymn. Kind of reminds me of autumn again, number 1066, "O Brother Sun." Please join me.
Oh, brother sun, you bring us light, all shining round in fiery might. Oh, sister moon, you heal and bless, your beauty shines with tenderness. Oh, brother wind, you sweep the hills, your mighty breath both freshens and fills. Oh, sister water, you cleanse and flow through rivers and streams in ice and snow. Oh, brother fire, you warm our night with all your dancing colored light. Oh, sister earth, you feed and bless all things, all creatures, all scales and wings. Oh, sister death, you meet us here and take us to our God so near. Oh, God of life, we give you praise for all your creatures, for all your ways.
There's really nothing like making music together, is there? Let us take a moment now to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. I invite you to read these words together when and if it feels right for you. If you wish and you've joined by Zoom, please unmute your microphone so that we can all feel the power that we have when we join our voices together. The words of the affirmation will be on the screens. So please join me in reading. Love is the spirit,
of this fellowship,
and
service is its law.
This is our great
covenant
to dwell
together in peace,
to seek
the truth in love,
and to help
one another.
We have come to a time in our service to briefly share the important events that have touched our lives in the past week. Our joys, when shared, are magnified, and in sharing our sorrows, we provide the support and care that are vital for all of us in community. During this time of sharing our joys and concerns, we have paused the recording of the service. We move to the section. It is as much a blessing to be able to give as it is to receive. And in this self-governing, self-sustaining community, we recognize that it is our responsibility to do both and to do both well. And so as we approach the time for our offering, we invite you to give what you will for the work of this fellowship, for its work in the world. Our fellowship depends on the love and the generous contributions from our members. We are empowered by the innumerable gifts of all who join in covenant with us, their time, compassion, humor, their financial contribution. And all of these gifts generally given are needed for this fellowship and for its continued good work in the world. And during the time of the offering, we will be passing a basket here within the fellowship. And the information on your screen provides additional ways that you can give, either electronically or by sending a check to the fellowship. Please stand now if you're comfortable doing so, and join us in singing to each other words of sincere gratitude. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Now, please settle yourself comfortably in your chair. You may want to close your eyes. Place your feet on the floor and feel connected to the ground beneath you. Let your hands rest quietly. Breathe deeply and allow your shoulders to relax. Breathe deeply in and out. In and out. After a time of silence, silent meditation, we will join together with Carole in singing Spirit of Life, Fuente de Amor.
Please join me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape enterré tu compasión. Sopla volar, subir la mar, hasta mollar la justicia de la vida. Agárrame, líbrame, ven tren de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
This morning, I've chosen to share with you the words of Dr. Taqiyya Nur Amin. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Amin is a dance scholar, an educator, and a consultant, and she currently serves as the content director and a member of the organizing collective board for Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, or BLUE. As part of the 2021 Siding with Love service that was put on by the Unitarian Universalist Association and still available online if you wish to watch it. As part of this service, Dr. Amin delivered a homily, which she titled The Call of Our Faith. This homily is shared with congregations through the UU Worship Web Words for Worship resource. It's a resource that I enjoy looking at frequently. From that resource, you may also find the link to access the recording of the entire 2021 Siding with Love service. When I read and then listened to Dr. Amin's words, I was struck by her wisdom about accepting the opportunities that life provides us and turning our opportunities into action. So this is the homily that was written by Dr. Taqiyya Nur Amin. She writes, "In every moment, life is giving us an invitation." I really believe that. I really believe that in every moment, life is giving us an invitation to do the things that are the most loving and life-affirming, and that doing the life-loving and life-affirming thing is always the answer when you don't know what to do, or if you're feeling unsure. There's always a moment of invitation to rethink or reevaluate. We are being invited into this cosmic dance of renewal and joy and justice. But you have to make the justice. It doesn't just show up without our participation or our effort. Things don't get better just by us waiting for them to happen. We all have to engage in the better making from wherever we are. And each moment presents an invitation for us to do that. Dr. Amin writes, "I don't want us to forget that. Even if, like me, you are tired or feeling frustrated or feeling unsure, the invitation to participate in a manner that is about living our values, living love and justice is still there, no matter what else is going on. Ask yourself, what's the most loving, life-affirming thing that I can do in this moment for myself or for other people? Sometimes it's get some rest. Sometimes it's apologize for something you've done. Sometimes it's reconsider how you're using your money or other resources in the broader world." Dr. Amin writes, "To me, if we're talking about racial justice, love is about acknowledging that there has been wrong, that there has been harm perpetrated, and that whether you personally feel like you participated in it or not, you are likely benefiting from the inequitable results of that harm. Even if you are a person who wants to say, well, I didn't participate in making things this way, if you are benefiting from the ill-gotten gains then you have some responsibility to make things right, especially if you then turn around and say that you believe in justice and equity. You are not let off the hook no matter what. When we have broader conversations about reparations or what it looks like to repair, particularly the harms that have been done to Indigenous communities, Black communities, communities of color, I believe that love means thinking about the resources that enable life. So what does reparation look like at the intersection of communities of color and healthcare, or communities of color and education? What does it look like to have those kinds of conversations beyond just conversations about money and land that is owed, but also about accessing resources that have been inequitably distributed for more than a century, really for much more than a century? All of us should have a hand in those conversations, and all of us have some responsibility to bring about justice in those contexts. Plainly, if you're not going to do that work, if you're not going to be committed to thinking about that, how can you serve in the work? It obfuscates the mandate of what it means to be Unitarian Universalist, because ours is a faith that calls us to do things. Being Unitarian Universalist, in part, means maybe you don't pray the way I pray, maybe you don't pray at all, but how do we live together in an equitable community, despite what I might think about God or what you might think about God? This is a faith that calls us to commit to the work of making justice. This is a faith that causes us to commit to the work of making justice and calls us to think about what it means, not to believe the same, but to live together in beloved community, despite our own discrete perspectives about spirituality or the afterlife. That is part of the call, the mandate of what it is to be Unitarian Universalist, to figure out how we live together in loving, equitable, just relationship with each other. Dr. Amin writes, I believe that the proof of our faith is the extent to which we do that. The proof of our faith is not in some confession that we make. The proof of our faith is not in some words that we say. The essence of our endeavor, the proof of what we believe, is in how we do the work of bringing about love, justice, and community. As Unitarian Universalists, Dr. Amin writes, I think we've given up perhaps too quickly on notions of salvation. If we think about the notion of being saved from harm, I don't know that it's actually possible to have personal salvation beyond the community. There is no way for you to have salvation and some kind of perfect, flourishing life outcome while everything around you is suffering and burning, because we are all connected. We are. If COVID hasn't reaffirmed in your mind that we're all connected, I really don't know what to tell you. Again, remember, this was written in early 2021. Here we are right now, suffering through a global pandemic together, and people can pass a deadly virus to each other through our breath that we can't even see. That is a metaphor for us all being connected, if I've ever heard one. And I think it's something that we would do well to think about and remember. Our salvation is intimately tied up in each other's ability to see other people as worthwhile. All human beings are valuable and possessing dignity. Seeing all life as having value, possessing dignity, and that's not the same as liking me. This is not, I need you to like me. This is not, I need us to be best friends so we can go to the shopping mall together. This is, understand that I have as much of a right to human thriving and flourishing as anybody else, and that I have as much to offer as anyone else, and so do you. How do we create a context where all of that is possible? Where all that human driving and life is possible? That is going to require sacrifice and time and deep listening and nuance, but that is what being a Unitarian Universalist requires. Other faith traditions ask for other things. This is what Unitarian Universalism asks of us. This is what we signed up for. And to me, this is serious. The call of our faith is critical right now. Dr. Amin wrote, ours is not a faith of anything goes. When I hear people say, I'm a UU because I can believe whatever I want, that's actually the farthest thing from the truth. It's time to lean into whether or not we really believe it, or are we just saying it to give ourselves the illusion of faith community so we can feel like we have some kind of faith tradition? Do we really believe the values of our faith enough to enact them in the larger world in a manner that is bold and clear and unequivocal? People need to know, especially in this moment, what our commitments are. And if we are going to say that we are a faith that is committed to justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, we have to actually do that. It's not just about saying the thing, we have to do the thing. Dr. Amin wrote in concluding, frankly, I'd feel better if we did less saying and more doing. I need us to have the collected maturity right now to do what it is that our faith asks us to do. Amen, Amin, and Ashe. So our closing hymn this morning, those are our applause for Dr. Amin, for those who might be listening to this on the recording. Our closing hymn for this morning is number 1010, Oh, We Give Thanks. So again, for those who are joining from home, the words shortly will be in the chat. And we'll be joining Carole Cole in singing number 10. Number 1010, Oh, We Give Thanks.
Please stand if you would like. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for our gathered here and this far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for our gathered here and this far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Now is the time for us to extinguish the chalice here at UUFLB and within our homes. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts. with its message of community, love, and justice, taking it out into the world in which we live until we are together again. So now please stand as you are comfortable, perhaps form a circle and join together in our closing song.
Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With earth as our mother, we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, with every breath I take, let this be my solemn vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And let it begin with me. Thank you, Paul.